This is what separates you from just being another videographer or content creator that they hire to being the expert shooter that they want to keep around. What I'm doing is enhancing their brand and their vision. Here are 5 lessons that helped me grow my videography business in the last 5 years. And trust me, some of these are often overlooked by most creatives. Now, 7 years ago, I was just like y'all, taking videos on my phone for a coffee shop that I was working at. And because they wanted me to run their social media account, they ended up paying me a little extra money. And with that extra money, I ended up investing in my first camera, which was the Sony A5100. And ever since then, I've been obsessed with videography. Now, back in 2020, I was affected by the pandemic like everyone, which made me focus all my time and energy in starting my own videography business. And I think these 5 lessons are what really helped me grow my business in the last 5 years here in Austin, Texas. Now, number one is social media. You need to have a social media presence, whether it's on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn. Nowadays, if you're not on social media, then you are not visible. And one of the things most people struggle with is what to post, what to put on, how they want to be presented. And one thing I tell everybody is posted is better than perfect. Let your audience decide what your voice and what your brand is. You be the one to talk about who you are, what you enjoy, and what really gets you going. But your audience is going to be the one that lets you know what they want to hear from you. Now, I say this because that's something I had to do with my own brand. What I ended up doing on my social media account was just going through all of my feed and saying what was something that people were liking, commenting, interacting with, sharing. And the two things that always kept coming up were my drone videography and my photography of Austin. So then I decided to niche down on specifically drone content for Austin, Texas, which at the time the pandemic was going on and there was so much influx to the city, which allowed me to get hired by a lot of real estate agents. Now, like I said, don't aim for perfection, but aim for consistency. In today's social media age, people want to know that you're going to show up. So even though your post may not be perfect, make sure you're being consistent in what you're posting, how you're posting it, and the times you're posting. This allows people to gain the confidence that you will be there when they show up to that social media platform. Now, the way that helped me in my business is that I was always in front of everybody's eyes. Now, at the time, I was posting about 3 times a day, photo and video content. So when anybody opened their phone, there was going to be some form of content that I created in front of their face. Now, that allowed my account to grow, but that also put me in front of a lot of people that I wanted to work with, like real estate agents, people in the luxury hospitality industry, and people who wanted content for their business in Austin, Texas. Now, once I started getting this clientele, I think step number 2 is what took me from being like everyone else to being at the top of the list, which was being dependable and over prepared. Now, one of my biggest complaints that I've always got from clients was that people that they've hired in the past either didn't show up or didn't show up on time, or when they did show up, were not professional in the way they dressed, in the way they spoke, or the way that they handled the people around them. So for me, I ended up realizing was one, I just needed to be dependable, and two, be over prepared. Make sure that I'm coming with a shot list, make sure I'm coming with ideas, make sure that I'm coming with contingency plans based on if the weather's going to change or something doesn't go the way it's supposed to. I made it my mission to do what I say and say what I do. This also looks like responding to emails or text messages, showing up early, prepping for things maybe a day in advance so that everything goes smoothly, having constant contact with your client to make sure that they are taken care of. At times, your job is to rebuild the trust of your client for creatives because they've been burned in the past by others. Now, the reason step number 2 became so easy for me is because step number 3 is in my nature, which is having a good attitude. Now, this one is underrated, but very, very powerful. Now, a lot of the times when I'm on this shoot, people are already tired or grumpy, or something's been going on throughout the day that kind of has their mind somewhere else. And so when I show up, people may not be as happy or energetic as I am because they've already had other things clouding their mind. So I make it my priority to be optimistic, energetic, and positive about any situations that arises. And also I make sure that I'm coming with these ideas because again, sometimes I'm on a shoot where something's showing up late or the person isn't showing up early or whatever it is. And so there's a lot of frantic things going on. And so being a voice that's calm in the midst of the storm is something that a lot of clients appreciate. And again, I really feel like that's something that's allowed me to work with some of the bigger brands that I work with. Because when things are going crazy and haywire, cracking jokes here and there, making people laugh, making people feel comfortable, making people feel appreciated for the work that they're putting in makes you the person who's memorable because your name ends up being sprinkled in every conversation. So don't take being a kind, happy, positive, energetic person for granted. Sometimes this is what makes a shoot perfect. And setting that kind of good vibe is something that may get you rehired by this client in the future. Number four is investing in the right gear. Now, what I'm not saying is buying the most expensive gear. Those are two different things. Now, you don't need the latest and greatest, but what you do need is the gear that's going to allow you to deliver on your promise. So let's say that you tell the client that you're going to deliver some smooth, beautiful cinematic drone shots, but you only have a drone that has a 24 millimeter lens on it, which is way too wide, and you can't really get that cinematic with it. But if you have a drone that has a 70 millimeter lens on it or 166 millimeter lens, that allows you to capture more moody cinematic drone shots, which ends up allowing you to deliver on your promise. Remember, your gear reflects your standards and helps you tell better stories. Think of it this way: right gear, right story, right results. And the reason I say that is because every shoot is different. So having the right tools allows you to get the job done right. The last thing I would say is to know your industry. Become the expert in whatever niche you're going to be in. This is what separates you from just being another videographer or content creator that they hire to being the expert shooter that they want to keep around. So for the last few years, I focused on luxury travel, hotel, resorts. So because I know that niche so well, I'm able to show up with ideas that's going to make their content convert to sales. And that's what every business wants. So what I'll do is I'll study the branding, the marketing, the voice, the tone, all these things that are going to be communicated over the piece of content that I'm creating. And when you're able to do that, that's what makes them put more trust in you. Whenever you're on the shoot, they already know that you're going to capture the voice, the vibe, and what exactly they're going for. So that allows you to get even more creative. I love it when I work with clients who I've been with for years. So when I show up on a shoot and I want to try something different, they allow me to do it because they know that what I'm doing is enhancing their brand and their vision. I'm not changing it, I'm not making it something else. I'm taking what works and making it a little bit better for social media or whatever else we're going to be using it for. So, what I mean is, your clients don't want to hear about your gear, your 4K, and all the things you have. It's primarily, can you talk strategy? How is the content that you are capturing for them going to convert to making them more sales or more foot traffic through the door? You have to know both what you're doing it and why you're doing it. This is what's going to allow the client to have confidence in you. Bonus tip: try to match their passion. Make it seem like you care about their business just as much as they do. Matching their passion is going to allow them to trust you even more. So if you're just starting or you want to level up your business, apply these 5 things today and let me know in the comment section which one resonated with you the most. If you want to see more of what I do, make sure to click the video up here. Or if you want to see more of my gear reviews and behind the scenes, then click on this video over here. Until next time, catch you on the flip side. Peace out.